Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to e-Performance Management Training. My name is Sharon Barnes. I'm the Director of Leadership and Development. I work in the Organizational Design and Delivery Department. My co-host with me today is Joan Martin, and the project lead is Tanisha Green. Joan?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. So excited to see so many folks on the call and participating. Excited about the performance program.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me go over the format with everyone today. As you know, I mentioned earlier, this training session is being recorded, so you'll have an opportunity to view it again under the MTA site under e-Performance. And we also have everyone on mute. We will be taking questions via the chat box. If we're not able to answer your question today, we will follow up with the answers to the questions. It'll be posted on MTA today. I'll give you more information and resources at the end of the training session. Now, when we walk through the training session, you're not logging into an environment because we're not live yet. We go live on February 20th. So for today, you're actually watching the demonstration on how to use the tool, as well as being informed on the new process. Joan, take it away. Oh, sorry.
Thank you,
I'm still up. I'm still up, Joan. The
You're
agenda.
still up. All right, go for it. I'll come back on in a sec.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll go over the timeline. What's different? E-Performance. What's in it for me? E-Performance navigation for both the employee and the manager. What is the employee role? Well, today we'll take you through how to add and update goals. We'll talk about core and job competency. We'll share goals with our manager. For the manager is going to be responsible for reviewing and approving employee goals. That's our agenda for today. Joan?
Okay, everybody, thank you very much. Again, my name is Joan Martin, and I'm the Senior Director for Performance, People Relations, and Communication for the People Department. And I'm happy to be here today to work in collaboration with Sharon as you learn about the new e-Performance program. We are rethinking the traditional approach that the MTA has taken toward performance management. And our new performance management program has adopted employee-centric strategies that focus on improving outcomes for three critical areas: performance, engagement, and retention. So before I begin discussing what's different with our new system, I want to review the timeline with you. As you know, our evaluation process runs on a yearly cycle. We have just completed our 2023 evaluations, and starting this coming Tuesday, February 20th, we will launch our 2024 cycle. Important dates to keep in mind are goal entry, which will run from February 20th to March 22nd. The mid-year check-in will begin on June 17th and run through August 16th. And year-end will run from December 6th through January 17th of 2025. Throughout this entire process or year, managers should be providing ongoing feedback and coaching with their employees. This is not a three-step process. Rather, it's a continuous conversation between the manager and their employee throughout the year. So let's discuss what's different. We have some great enhancements to our new e-Performance system, starting with the interface. And as you know, the interface will be different because MTA is no longer using Process Maker. But instead, we're using a module called e-Performance, which will be accessed through the BSC under the e-Performance tile. Sharon will show you how to access it. The reporting structure, if you determine that any incorrect reporting structures, which would include wrong or missing manager, will require you to contact the BSC, and they will provide you with your agency HRBP representative who will investigate the incident and respond accordingly. The second level reviewer is now going away. It will no longer be required. Goals will now need to align with job-specific competencies. Each employee will choose which competency supports which goal. Of course, this is done after your conversation with the manager. The next area is both goals and core competencies will be rated by both the employee and the manager. At the mid-year check-in, employees being reviewed can now rate themselves in addition to their manager rating the employee. You can also, at that time, both the manager and the employee can write comments during the mid-year check-in. And lastly, during the mid-year check-in, both the employee and the manager have the ability to ask for a development plan or a performance improvement process. If the employee does not feel they're on task for a specific goal, or in general, they may request the manager development plan so they can work throughout the rest of the review cycle to get more aligned and on task with their goals. At the year end, employees have the ability to rate themselves in addition to the manager rating the employees. Documents can now be added to the review by both the employee and manager. So for instance, an employee or manager wants to document that they spoke to one another during the year about a project or a goal. So that an employee can take that document, make it visible to just themselves as a reminder, or they can share it with their manager as a reminder, and vice versa. The manager can take that document, make it visible to just themselves, or both to the, as well to the employee. And finally, the HRBP will have a little bit of a greater involvement in this application, and they're going to be responsible for making updates within ePerformance regarding change of manager and so forth. So, you know, we always ask what's in it for me or with them, right? So the employees will be objectively assessed against a set of core and job competencies that are linked to the skills and ability to get their work done. We're going to be providing easy to use templates, automated processes, and the electronic signing capability. We're also, with this application, improving our tracking and record keeping accountability and compliance with the performance management requirements. And because we're talking strictly about goal entry during this particular session, we want to make sure you understand that core competencies ensure the employee's efforts are directly aligned to the organization's objectives, but employees will also be measured based on their contributions to MTA's overall success. But the extra piece that we're putting in this year is the part about job-specific competencies. And these will be used to set clear and objective expectations for job performance. Take it away, Sharon.
Thank you, Joan. So what I would like to do now is demonstrate how to enter or add your goals, right? Just so you know, you'll be logging into the portal when we go live February 20th. The URL is www.mymta.info. For the employee, you will select Employee Self-Service homepage, and that's the landing page by default. Then you'll click on the My ePerformance tile and select My Document. For the manager, you'll switch over to the Manager Self-Service homepage, select Team Performance, and then you'll search for your employee if you have more than 2 or 5, because the page will be, small. So what I want to do now is bring over the training environment. I call it the training environment, but it's actually the stage environment. I'm going to log in, and I want to make sure I give you a disclaimer that this is scrambled data. It is not someone's live information, okay? I'm just typing in their BSCIG number, and then I'll type in the password. And so I'm logging in as the employee. I'm on the portal. Remember, the default is Employee Self-Service. I'll scroll down to My ePerformance. And now you'll notice I'm on My ePerformance page as Samson. Under My Documents, the document type is Performance Document. The document status is Add Goals. The time period is from February 19th, 2024 through January 17th, 2025. That's the entire performance period. When is the ad goals due? March 23rd, 2024. So let's go on and add goals. I'll click on add goals. Now on the add goals and update page, on the left-hand side, this is called your work center. The work center will give you step-by-step tasks and the date when it's due. Again, remember, we're working with adding goals, and the due date is March 23rd, 2024. You'll notice that the white circle, white represents the task has not been started, whereas with the orange circle, the task requires attention. When you finish entering your goals and you save it and your manager has approved it, this circle will turn green, meaning the task has been completed. In the middle area here, the landing page, you will see your job title. The document type, again, is performance document. The status is in progress. On the right-hand side, your reporting manager should be listed. If this is wrong, you need to put in a service request at the Business Service Center call center to make the update. The due date, again, there's always a reminder, 3/23/2024. There are instructions in the middle on how to add your goals. Then you'll see the 3 tabs. The first one is for your goals. The second one, as Joan mentioned earlier, is for your core competency. And you'll notice that there are 4, and everyone has the same 4. I can click here to branch out, and now you're able to view all levels, skilled, less skilled, overused, talented. And then I'll click again to close it. Under your job competencies, this is where it varies. It is based on your title, so everyone won't have the same job competencies. So when you're filling this out using the SMART technique, we recommend, you want to match up your title with your competencies, and you'll see that in a moment. And so this is a listing of the competencies for this particular title. Again, I can click on the arrow to branch out and view. So now how do I add the goals? I click on the Goals tab. I click on Add Goals. The system brings up, what is your title? Well, the title for my first goals, and I want to mention that you should have anywhere from 3 to 5 goals. That's what you should be setting up. So the title is Customer Support. My description of this particular goal, I'll enter here, is I want to reduce the average time to resolve customer service tickets by 10% by the end of third quarter, I should say. What is the job competency? Well, I'm going to click on this down arrow, and what I want to do is I want to see if the group has any suggestions. What I want you to do for me is type in which job competencies you think matches this goal. Let's see. Don't see anyone typing yet. So again, the title is Customer Service. And now here is the description: reduce the average time to resolve customer support tickets by 10% by the end of the third quarter. Oh, it's pouring in now, Joan.
Getting some good answers.
Yes. So Joan, please tell the group which one is the right one.
So the right one for this particular example is communicates effectively.
Thank you, Joan.
You bet.
And I just also want to point out that the title and the job competencies are required. I'm going to show you later on, when we don't enter the job competencies, how the system will automatically give you an error message. Thank you, everyone, for entering your choice of job competencies. So we have the title, the description, and the job competencies. We'll click on the Add button, and now you notice the first goal has been added. It also gives you the date it was created. There's always an audit trail in PeopleSoft. So it's entered on 2/15 at 2/19. You'll also notice in this box on the right-hand side, there's a pencil if I wanted to edit. And there's also a trash can if I wanted to delete. I'm going to add one more goal just for practice. So I'll click on Add Goals again. And for the title, I am going to plug in implement a new process. And I'll copy my description. I already had it typed up. So here I want to develop and implement a new process for improving the workflow efficiency within the next 6 months. Now, group, let's try it one more time. What do you think the job competency should be? Anyone? Okay.
That's some great
Keep
answers.
coming in.
Great
Yes.
answers.
Yes. And Joan, hold your answer. Okay, I think we had the right one. But what I want to do is not put in a job competency. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to click on the Add button. Thank you, everyone. And take a look. The system automatically gives you an error message. The supporting competency field has not been entered, right? So now they're telling you that you can't go any further. You have to enter in this required field. Joan, please share with us what is the job competencies for this second goal.
Plans and aligns.
Thank you, Joan. And now I'll click on the Add button. And again, I'm able to view both of the goals I've entered. We recommend anywhere from 3 to 5 goals. So when I'm finished, I always click on the Save button. And you'll notice that PeopleSoft gives you the message that it has been saved. If you want to print out your goals, you can always click on the Print command to print it. Now remember, you have up until March 2023, and that's the 23rd of March, the year 2024, I should say. So you can always print it out, save it, and go out. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to share this with my manager. When I click on this button, it will automatically send an email to the manager informing the manager that I have completed my goals and it's ready for the manager to review. Keep in mind that you should be having regular conversations with your manager to discuss your goals. So I'll click on Share Goals. Let me share with my manager. The system prompts me, please confirm that you have added your goals for your manager review. Once you click on OK, your performance manager will get an email reviewing your goals. I'll click on OK. I'll click on the home icon to go to the home page. And now I'll log off. I'm signing out. Now I'm going to sign in as the manager. I'm signing in as Joan because remember, Joan is the manager for this employee. Okay. And now as the manager, remember, I have to change it from employee self-service to manager self-service. And if I was entering my own goals, then I would select my e-performance. But since I'm working with my team, what I need to do is select the team e-performance. The system will bring me to the current document page where all of my employees that report to me is listed. Again, if your employee is not listed or the wrong person is on your list, please contact the Business Service Center, call center to make the correction. You must put in a ticket. So now I need to search for my employee because this list is so long. I click on the filter icon located on the left-hand side. I can enter the employee's name, or I can type in, select the document type, the document status, or the begin or end period. I am going to type in the employee's name. And there it is. I only typed in the first name. The system can bring up, based on one character and an asterisk, if you're using the special symbols, it would bring up everyone with the first name starting with an S. But I just typed in Samson and press the enter key. So Samson is the director. He reports to me, Joan Martin. This is the performance document, adding goals, and then you have your dates. I'll click on performance document. And now I'm in review mode, right? Here's Samson, and this is where he's at. He has added his goals. So me as the manager, now I'm going to click on this button to view the goals. Just that easy. Remember, you had dialogue with your employee. But what if I realize that goal number 1, they said they can reduce the tickets by 10% by the 3rd quarter. Well, I really think the employee will be able to do this by 2nd quarter. And so what I want to do is ask the employee to change the 3rd quarter to 2nd quarter. And of course, we had dialogue on this. So how do I inform the employee that I'm not approving it now? I want them to make a change. Well, there is a notify button in the top right-hand corner. When I click on it, it will bring up the email stream, right? By default, the employee that you're viewing, email will be listed. You cannot change it, okay? Then it gives you the subject. It says, this is a notification regarding the performance document for Samson. Then you have a text box here where it says you have 254 characters. Now, there's a limitation here for the email, but not when you're entering your goal. No worries. So for the message, I am going to ask the employee, I'm going to say for goal number 1, change the quarter 3 to quarter 2. And notice how the system tells me how many characters I have used. I'll click on the send button. And now it's been sent to the employee. I'll click on the save button to save. And now I'm going to click on the home button and log off as the director, the manager. So I'm going to stop for a minute. So what we did first was we entered the goal as an employee. We sent the notification to our manager. Now the manager just logged in, reviewed the goals, and made suggested changes via email. Now I'm going to log back in as the employee and make the suggested change. So let me do that. Again, the landing page for an employee and everyone is employee self-service, so I don't have to switch my landing page. I'll go directly to my e-performance, select add goals, and it was goal number 1. So I'll click here to open it. I'll click on the pencil to edit. And now I can go in and change the goal. Again, there's no limit in the description box. Notice how now it says update because I'm not adding. I made changes to that goal. So I'll click on update. I always save. So you notice how the system said the last modification date is today's date, the 15th, at 2:28. Okay? Now I'm going to share again with the manager to let them know I made the change, and now they can go and approve it. So I'll click on the Share with Manager button. Again, we have the confirmation. Click on OK. I'll click on the Home button, and then I'll sign out. Okay, here's the final step. Remember, we're in goals. Okay, this is phase 1. So I'm going to log back in as the manager of the employee. change my landing page to manage self-service. Select Team e-Performance. Now I'll search for my employees. And I'll click on the Add Goals. Okay. So now let me make sure the goals were changed. There you are. It's Q2 instead of Q3. So if the manager and the employee are in agreement with the goals set, and it's before March 23rd, 2024, your final step is to approve, located in the top right-hand corner. I'll click on this button, and the system prompts me, approve adding goals. Select Confirm to approve and complete the adding goals step. I'll click on Confirm. The page has been saved, and it tells me you have successfully approved and completed the adding goals step. Notice now that adding goals is green. That means it's completed. That completes our process for adding and approving goals, as well as editing. I'm going to click on the Home button here and click on the 3 dots to sign out. Okay. So here's a sample of the email that the employee sent out. So it says from PeopleSoft, that's the email address. Remember, this is a sample, so the email name that you see here is not correct, but it is performance goals have been shared for your review. So this is the employee sending it to the manager. Your email, Yolanda, has submitted their goals, excuse me, your employee, Yolanda, has submitted their goals, and it tells you for 2024 performance plan. You are requested to review these goals and provide feedback to the employee. So I'm just going to take a look in the chat box just to see if we have any questions out here, Joan, that we could answer now while we're online.
I do want
Let's
to
take a look.
answer what I've been kind of cruising it as you were going through this. There's a lot of questions
Okay.
about competencies. So it's not nice to speak to a blank screen. So there's a lot of questions about competencies, and what I want to do, the example that Sharon had set up is with a employee that had a lot of competencies. Most positions within the organization have anywhere between 5 and 10 competencies, job competencies available. And where did these come from? So the leadership of each department was selected or consulted, I'm sorry, about the selection of the job-specific competencies. They're based on your role within the organization, i.e. your title. So a manager in C&D will have different competencies than a director. So there is no right or wrong answer for a competency when you create your goals, but you want to tie your goals to those competencies. So if you want to know what a competency contains, when you go into that tab where it shows the listing of all those competencies, just expand the field and you'll see what each competency is, how to be skilled, how it's overused, etc. Sharon did that with the core competencies. And you remember core competencies have always been around. Everybody still gets rated on the core competencies. There's 4. So you're automatically populated based on your job title. So my job competencies will not be the same as my supervisor, Tanisha, because we have different titles. Okay. Let's see. We can get a couple other questions here. I just wanted to make sure competencies was a big one.
Thank you. And when the
you can use
resources.
Right. You can also use the same competency for your goals, but keep in mind, there's no limitation. You can use, if you have 5 competencies and only 3 goals, then you're using 3 competencies. Okay. How come employees are entering their goals instead of the managers? Because now we're having the employee drive this process. The first step in working in this application is the employee has a meeting with their manager and they agree upon the goals for the upcoming year. When that's done, the employee enters the goals, the manager gets them, makes a determination if anything has to be edited. There is no limitation on conversation back and forth. The manager can come back and say, all right, goal number 2, I've thought about it. Let's switch it to Q2 versus Q3. There's no limitation on how many times you can communicate with one another. Okay. Yes, job aids will definitely be provided. We're actually putting early next week on the intranet site under performance management. There's going to be a whole new layout, which has lots of job aids, the 3 videos that we've asked you to watch. Sharon will get into some of the resources that you'll be able to do at the end, but yes, there'll be a lot of resources. The average goal entry is 3 to 5. That's not, I wouldn't go anything lower than 3, and I wouldn't really, to be honest with you, go past 5. That's a lot to do in a year's time. Okay.
They want to know, can they use the same competency more than once?
Yes, you can use the same competency more than once. Your goals are tied, your competencies are tied to your goals. So if there's goals that are very similar, yes, you're not going to get an error message. Oh, you already used that competency, you can't use it again. Yes, you can.
What happens if we miss the deadline, which is March 23?
Well, what's going to happen, the system does not shut off, but what's going to happen is you're going to be starting to get inundated with emails reminding you that its goal entry is past its date. So we really encourage, the very first step is we're asking the employee to start the conversation with their manager, get time on their calendar, and make sure that they have a conversation about what their goals are for 2024, and then practice, start putting them into the system.
Joan, with Process Maker, will my previous goals carry over into the new database?
No. So Process Maker is a standalone application. We will still be able to access your prior year. My hope is when you completed your Process Maker this year, you saved a copy of it. There's an option on the screen that you would have seen, type of PDF or print a PDF copy of it. But you will not see 2023 goals or any of your reports in this system, because this is a completely different interface than what we use with Process Maker.
And another question I can answer, can we start adding our goals? Yes, on February 20th.
Right. Do not think you can log in today and go into the BSC where all the tiles are, where your pay is, your benefits. The tile is not there until Tuesday. So you will see the tile that says My ePerformance, and that's where you will go in. No different than mandated training, no different than My Paycheck, etc. There'll be a new tile called My ePerformance. On Tuesday, it'll be there for you.
Joan, can I see goals of all my staff who report to managers under me?
Can I?
So they don't report to that person directly, they report to the person under that person.
The manager would have to print them and share them. Nope.
Okay.
There is no second level reviewer this time. It's strictly the manager and the employee. You can have an additional contributor. So an additional contributor is the same process we have now. So if an employee has a task that they went and helped a different manager for 2 months out of the year, the manager of that employee can reach out and say, I'd like to make you an additional contributor. Would you like to put some feedback about Joan on her time within your department? That is the same. I'm going to see if I see anything else. I think we've pretty good answered most of them. Does anyone else?
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right, thank you, Joan. Let's move on. So here's ongoing support, which I know you've been waiting to hear about this. So next week, Joan and her team will have office hours. So just in case your question wasn't answered on this training session, or you have new questions after you have went in the environment, and this is the training environment we'll talk about in a minute, There are office hours, and you will receive an email with a link to join the Zoom question session on February 21st through the 23rd from 11 to 11:30, February 27th from 10 to 10:30, and February 29th from 1 to 1:30, and then March 6th from 1 to 1:30. Also available to you, if you have any questions after this session, you can contact the e-performance management team via email. The email address is peoplesoft@mtahq.org. Under MTA Today, under Performance Management Programs, you will find all of the videos that were created based on how to enter goals, the manager's role, and SMART goals and competencies. They're available. And also the video from this training session today and yesterday will be there, along with job aid. So we're fully supporting this. The MTA University, I will have classes for people to attend on coaching for a manager, giving effective feedback, challenging conversation, emerging leaders, 5 conversations of a manager. And while you're waiting for the system to go live, you can go into the UPK, which is located on the portal. The UPK will allow you to try it, see it, print out a job aid. It's in a simulated environment, so I suggest you try the try it method, where you can actually enter goals by practicing. Look at the job competencies, the core competencies. It's available today on the portal. All of the steps for e-performance management process will be located on the portal with job aid available to you. Any other questions we want to take, Joan, before we close out?
So this training will be available to everybody. I want to remind everybody that nothing will be posted until Tuesday. So on Tuesday, the internet will be updated. Your availability to go into the application will be available, or will be there. And all of the resources that you need to know to get through this first phase. Keep in mind that toward the end of the March, when we are closing out goal entry, our next phase is mid-year check-in. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to provide you resources, live training opportunities, so that everybody will be up to date on how to then go from goal entry to mid-year check-in. Okay?
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Please take the time out to fill out evaluation survey so we can get some feedback. You have it in the chat box as well as on your screen. So if you can take a moment to fill that out. I want to pass it on to Tanisha Green so we can close out our training session for the day. Again, thank you for attending.
Thanks, Sharon. And I just want to first, thank you, Sharon and Joan, for leading the training initiative. And thank all the participants we have on the call today and the high level of engagement. We're wholeheartedly, recognize that, you all are critical to the, the collective success here at the MTA. And our performance management team, we're committed to support your growth and development. So really looking forward to a successful 2024 performance management lifecycle, and look forward to working with you this year. Thanks. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. This ends our session. I'll stop the recording.